What up, you guys? It's your brother Trey, man. Before we get into this video, I want to say I appreciate y'all for tuning in. This is the update on the Isalnd Boys, you guys. This is from Sunny V2, excellent channel. You guys should definitely go watch him. I'm gonna take this from the stance that what they could have done better, because we're in the era of information. These guys blew up out of nowhere, got huge, hella views, and did nothing with it, you guys. So we're gonna talk about how they could have did this a little bit differently. And I appreciate it, you guys. Like, comment, subscribe if you guys like my content, man. I really appreciate it. Without further ado, man, let's get into the video.
To reply to a comment like this, I don't understand why you're being so hateful towards me.
The Isalnd Boys have been receiving fewer and fewer likes on TikTok every single month since they blew up. 10 million, then 9 million, going to 7 million, before a pretty sharp drop to less than 3 million last month.
I mean, that's still pretty good for last month. I mean, obviously it's not 10 million, but you're still getting 3 million likes on that? Man, you can still flip this. They can still flip this and turn it around.
Google Trend Graph tells a similar story. People have slowly been losing interest in these two rappers who have made respectable physical sacrifices for their career in entertainment. However, while we're not here to hate on the Isalnd Boys, we will make the argument that they were destined to fail from the very beginning. And the first reason is because they never had a decent skill set or product to begin with. When they first blew up 6 months ago in October 2021 for their infamous I'm an Isalnd Boy rap, it wasn't because people were impressed by their ability to sing. In fact, it was the complete opposite. The video went viral because of how terrible the song was. The Isalnd Boys were instantly judged as two talentless bozos who had covered themselves in tattoos, and as a result, people began to follow them for their stupidity as opposed to their talent.
And I mean, here's the deal, you guys. The tattoos are in. Like, that's the look. Trippy Red, Existentiation, Lil Wayne, like lots of, but really the Existentiation, Trippy Red and stuff like that, they really made this stuff popular, getting the face tattoos, you know what I mean? And like now, just having this outlandish look, 6ix9ine took it to the next level, and now here come the Isalnd Boys. It still can work. Having this outlandish, peacocky personality and physical look still gets a lot of attention. Now, what you do with that attention, that's another thing coming. One thing that I that I learned from the 40 Laws of Power, I suggest all of you read it, is that your time will come. Even in that, when I was in football, my coach said the same thing. When I was trying to get to varsity, my coach was like, you need to always be ready, because when we put you in for varsity, I need you to play. You just got to be ready. You got to be, your time is going to come. Every dog has their day. This was their day. That Isalnd Boy, I'm an Isalnd Boy. That was their day. They could have flipped it, you know, but I guess they didn't do so well with that, you know what I mean? Yeah.
I think they're entertaining, and I follow them because they're entertaining. Yeah. I love to see the stupid shit that they say.
They were mocked brutally in some of the funniest TikTok parodies ever posted to the platform, whilst being used as a representation for how easy it was to get famous on the internet in 2021.
Let's be real. How long before the Dust Bunny twins over here get a record deal, sponsors, and tours? Oh, you don't think so? Remember this, bozo?
Now, the difference between the Isalnd Boys and someone like 6ix9ine is that while 6ix9ine also got famous in part by his over-the-top ridiculous appearance, he actually has a decent portfolio of music to fall back on. People hate on 6ix9ine, but only in the beginning. He then becomes well known, people check out his music, and then some become fans after realizing that his songs are actually pretty decent, therefore it's a solid growth strategy. On the contrary, for the Isalnd Boys...
So first and foremost, man, I'm happy Sunny V2 actually brought it up like that, because 6ix9ine is talented. He was very talented. He did have that outlandish look. And like, I know a lot of people hate 6ix9ine on the internet, but he was talented. When he was coming up, he had the whole world on lockdown. He had the internet on lockdown. Everyone was tuned in to what he was going to post on Instagram. He was posting XYZ, and he had the content behind it to really support it. You know, look at his music now. Almost all of them got over 500 million views. You know what I'm saying? And I'm glad he brought it up like that. 6ix9ine laid out the path for these goons, you know, them, to be successful. They just forgot the most important part: actual content. I want you guys to learn about this. We're in the millennial, we're in 2022. All the information you need to succeed is out there. All of it. You just need to have the mindset. These guys are millennials, man. If you watching this, no matter what age you're in, you can be successful and have it long term. You got to have a game plan. A long-term game plan. Like, it's out of date, man. This live fast, die young type of stuff, bro. That's so out of date. You are behind times if that's how you trying to do things. I had somebody comment on my channel about the moissanite jury. He said, "Oh, I still cannot understand why people would spend as much money on some fake jewelry. Oh, instead of buying the real diamonds. Oh my God." Stupid. You're so stupid about that. And here's the deal. He said he has 2 jobs, or he owns 2 companies. Cool. So does everyone else on the internet, right? And even if you do, why? How in the world does it make sense to spend $50,000 on a tennis chain, a diamond tennis chain, right? When you can spend $500 or maybe even $1,000 on a moissanite tennis chain that shines just as hard. People in your hood, people in your city are not rocking moissanites like that, you guys. They're really not rocking them. And plus, they shine hard. Them things dance. They're beautiful. Not like cubic zirconias. The moissanite hit very differently. You know what I'm saying? So I want to put it like that, man. There's no point in trying to, like, you got to have a long-term game plan. That $50K you spent on that diamond chain, you could have spent it on a business. You could have used it for use yourself. You know what I'm saying? Real estate. You got to have a long-term game plan is what I'm trying to say.
Boys, people hate on them, then check out their music, only to realize that similar to their TikTok content, it's not worth listening to.
People don't find these guys entertaining. They're not entertained by them. Other than, oh, hey, these guys look like this. Oh, that Isalnd Boys video was funny. What's happened since? Nothing. At all. And they keep rinsing and repeating and they're milking it dry. Did you really think you were going to go into this club, do this acapella Isalnd Boys and people were going to mess with it?
Without some decent art form to fall back on, they're unable to convert their haters into fans over time. Therefore, they either become even more hated or completely irrelevant.
You know, okay, this kind of reminds me of someone. You guys remember Bad Baby? Daniel Brazili or whatever her name was? She got her fame off of Dr. Phil. Catch Me Outside. She flipped that into an entire career. You know what I'm saying? Like that was in she made decent music, right? She made this, and so what I'm trying to say is that you can flip it. She was smarter about it than they were. You know what I mean? It's like you can flip even if you don't have quote unquote talent. You know what they could have did? They could have bought some ghostwriters. Come on. They could have bought some ghostwriters. Hell, they probably could have paid some random guy who has decent melodies and decent songs and just tried them all out to see what sounds good. That's what I would have did. If I was the Isalnd Boys and I knew that my songs wasn't going to make it, obviously I'll try to write my own stuff, but I will pay a ghostwriter. I will pay some kind of songwriter, write the songs for me. Hell, sing it for me so I can hear the melody. I'll give you a percentage of something, you know what I mean? Flip it, man. Become a business. Stop that's what I think about it. You got to turn into a business. Clout equals attention. Attention equals money.
Isalnd Boys discussed this on the Impulsive podcast with Logan Paul, stating that the haters were actually fans because they were following everything that the Isalnd Boys were doing.
They're really fans because really, think about a hater. A hater's watching you sometimes more than a person that loves you. Yeah, and if they're hating on me, it's just because they really love me. Because I see the haters check up on me more than the love. So,
which seemed to be a variation of the "it's better to be known than to be liked" argument. However, there are so many examples of where this doesn't really apply. There are countless YouTubers who have been outed as predators.
Hold on, before we get into him, what he's saying about EDP, I want to talk about this. This hater thing. Listen, especially for these upcoming rappers, you know what I mean? Like, I watch DJ Academics. I love reading hella books. I watch, like, his ego is way too over the top. It's okay to do that when you're talking to an interview. It's okay to think that. Like, my haters are just, they really want to see me win. But you got to have the work ethic behind it. You got to have something that's going to push you over there, over that hump, and continue over there. You got to think long term for this stuff, man. This YouTube channel I'm doing here, I plan on doing this for the rest of my life. As long as YouTube is available on the internet and stuff like that, I plan on doing this for the rest of my life, man. For real. So, you know, when it comes to the Isalnd Boys, you got to be able to get over your ego so you can step out of your situation and see where you can improve at. You can always improve. But if you're too head in your butt about the situation, you're only gonna see yourself. And that's okay once you made it. You know what I mean? But the Isalnd Boys, they don't have a hit. They only had that freestyle. That's you know, you can't have an ego like that until you've made it. And even when you make it, you still got to be able to be humble. Humble yourself enough to know where you can improve and make that next big, whatever it is, that next big move. You know what I mean?
As, for example, EDP445 and Minilad, who are both very well known, yet receive almost no views as a result of people disliking them so much that the audience goes out of their way not to watch the content. Therefore, the argument is probably better expressed as, you need to have an entertainment form that people remember as being impressive, whilst maintaining somewhat of a likable reputation, which the Isalnd Boys don't really have. People don't think about them in the context of unique, edgy artists that put a lot of effort into their music. They think about them in the context of two clowns who are famous for being famous.
Do you think that that's part of what people kind of hold against you as a grudge, is that like your image is crazy and you're sort of famous, but maybe the music isn't necessarily the reason why you guys are so known?
Right.
One of the Isalnd Boys would go on to state that the other reason they had so many haters was because of jealousy.
Just hating on me or whatever. And it's just a form of jealousy, either that, because I'm not really doing nothing.
Which is just another naive argument often made by narcissistic celebrities who lack self-awareness. Why are you so confident that people want to be in your position? Do you ever consider that maybe there's another reason as to why people hate you besides jealousy?
That's a good point he brings up, but I'm also going to take it from a content creator type of standpoint. What he said is people are jealous of me. This sounds like a defense. He's trying to put up a wall to help like guard his own emotions. The hate gets to people. The hate can get to some people, right? And these guys are young, man. I'm pretty sure they didn't develop I don't think that they went through the type of experiences that will present a hard-shelled kind of person at that age, like an NBA young boy, for instance. You know what I mean? There are certain situations that certain people go through that by the time they 21, they done seen enough for a 45-year-old man's life. And I don't think that they went through it. And so when he's talking about people are jealous of me, and I know this light is in my way, you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and turn that off after this, but yeah, man, like it sounds like a defense. He's just trying to guard his emotions on some stuff, man. I think the hate was actually getting to him.
Everyone is jealous of me argument displays a lack of critical thinking, personal honesty, and self-awareness, which was highlighted once again when Logan Paul would ask them about why they thought they blew up in the first place.
Why do you think you guys went viral in the first place with the Isalnd Boy rap?
I worked my ass off. It's not even just the Isalnd Boys. It's the fact that we went through so many obstacles, it was just bound to happen.
Now, it'd be a cheap shot to say that there was no hard work. I'm sure the Isalnd Boys had to have put some degree of effort into their career before posting that mega viral video. However, as mentioned previously, they didn't blow up because they had been in the studio relentlessly for 10 years straight. They blew up because they were being laughed at.
You have that it factor.
Here's the deal, man. I give it up to them too on that fact too, man. He believes that it's the hard work that he put into it. Now, whether or not that may be true, even when you blow up and when you make it, you gotta keep going. Just because you make one hit doesn't mean your work is over. I mean, what's going on with Roddy Ricch? Roddy Ricch did the same thing, man. He came into the industry, charged through the industry with The Box, Down Below. His songs, that album was fantastic. And then when he came out with this other album, I don't even remember one song off of it. You know what I'm saying? And I was a Roddy Ricch fan. What I'm trying to say is that you gotta keep applying pressure. You got to keep applying pressure. You can't sit back and relax. Long term. But hold on. When you're working hard, your time is going to come. It's going to come. It always does. But you got to be ready for it.
I'm a star. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we're the only ones that are talented in singing.
And this is one of the strangest parts about their whole career. They've deluded themselves into thinking that they have musical talent as a result of becoming famous.
So basically, when I was locked up, I was probably one of the only people in a dorm that knew how to rap, that knew how to freestyle, but didn't care. I think me as a rapper, my music is underestimated though. Yeah, for sure. Definitely. I'm a good artist. I can sing, rap, whatever. Versatile. I can make rock music, whatever.
Even going so far as to say this when asked about their future.
What is next for you guys?
We're rappers. We care about music way more important than a lot of things. We try to take over as an artist, singing, rapping, because I can sing, I can rap.
And this when Logan Paul would ask them a similar question.
What's your 5-year plan?
To be always top Billboard in music.
Good God.
Maybe acting if they let me with tattoos acting or something like that.
However, their confused response of always being top of the Billboard in music was certainly lacking in confidence, probably because at the end of the day, they know that with their their current image and skill set, the music they do produce could never compete with the top of the Billboard.
Their look doesn't help them at all in terms of music because people just see them as this ridiculous character, and it's just unfortunate for them for the future. Right now, they're probably enjoying it.
For example, when they'd post the official version of their I'm an Isalnd Boys song to YouTube, it's basically impossible to find a single positive comment despite the video's 13 million plus views. Thank you, Isalnd Boys, you saved my brother. He was paralyzed in a fatal car accident. Luckily, when I played this song, he rose and clicked the sound to mute. Wow, you guys definitely have a hidden talent that should stay hidden. Have this as my alarm clock every morning. Been waking up 30 minutes earlier just to turn it off. Thank you, Isalnd Boys. In addition to this negativity toward their music online, they'd also receive a similar response during their public appearances. For example, they'd both attend the Jake Paul vs Tyrone Woodley fight, where the entire crowd would try and get them kicked out, stating that they had apparently thrown a shoe at someone, which they never did.
So the Isalnd Boys just showed up. The whole place is booing them. The Isalnd Boys are getting kicked out because they just threw a shoe at someone.
Additionally, in November 2021, they'd be booked to sing at Club Liv in Miami, where they'd be booed by the crowd after yet another underwhelming performance, at which point the audience would discover another reason behind why their career wasn't going to last for the long term. They were completely unwilling to take advice from more knowledgeable role models in their field. Going back to the Impulsive podcast, the Isalnd Boys seemed pretty proud that they had paved their own path after Mike would ask them about which rappers they had been inspired by.
What was your inspiration? Like obviously you guys listen to rap music coming up.
I try not to listen to nobody because I feel like it betters my mindset.
Is that why you guys have such a unique sound?
Yeah. We don't listen to rappers. Nowadays, I used to listen to a lot of rappers.
Do you think you should start listening to them again?
No, because you're gonna try to steal their flow. They already made it. I'm not trying to.
Yo, that's trash. That's trash. How many big artists listen to other artists and they kind of copy that flow and that cadency? You know what I mean? Nicki Minaj, when she came out with that Lil Baby song, that was a ripoff from Fifi. That was an exact ripoff of Fifi. How many different rappers came out with the Migos flow when the Migos came out? NBA YoungBoy made a song with the Baby on their album, literally kind of copied off of Playboi Carti. Literally. This is the thing you gotta do. You gotta stay relevant. You gotta always find a way to reach other audiences. And once again, man, this is the ego. They're so wrapped up into their own world, they can't see how they can improve. You will never be that way. No matter what it is that you're involved in. You always got to keep an eye on the competition. Keep a pulse on what's happening in your sector, in your genre, in your niche. You know what I mean? You gotta do that. You can't just always think that you got the whatever, you know what I mean?
Like, you know what I'm saying? You make it more being yourself. I'm not trying
to
get
Are you sure?
Brain about being yourself?
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree with you guys to an extent of not being swayed by other people, but also at the same time, the current winners in the culture act as guardrails and guidelines for what you do with your craft.
Mike is 100% correct here. If they were to copy another artist completely, people will call them out as copycats. However, if they decide to completely ignore the valuable lessons and current trends set by the industry's leading artists and walk their own path without any inspiration from anyone else, they're just going to end up sounding like, well, the Isalnd Boys.
Is that how you end up in a place where you sound like you guys do, which is so drastically different? I wouldn't even call it hip hop. It's not rap, right? What is it?
They don't even really seem to understand what their own genre of music is.
I was trying to go for more melodic sound. When you keep on rapping in the same
cadence,
in the same form, you got no flow. It's the same flow.
Monotone.
Kind of monotone. We go you're very.
And going back to their inability to take advice from others, that eventually walk out of the Impulsive podcast after George would provide them with what seemed to be some tongue-in-cheek yet useful financial advice.
I think if God forbid it doesn't go in your guys' direction, for real, I think you guys take all of your jewelry assets and invest it in something. So you guys will never ever be broke again.
After storming out of the interview, an article will be released by HITC reading George Janko vs Isalnd Boys net worth compared after podcast feud, which put the...
Come on, man. See, that's another thing that they did wrong. You're on the Impulsive podcast. Those three guys, at least Logan Paul, one of the biggest YouTube stars in the world. Why would you walk out and ruin and burn that bridge like that? That's another ego thing. They can't see past their own feelings. These are emotional. Those are some emotional guys. They're young and emotional. No self-control. No self-discipline. You know what is... Kevin Samuels, for instance. Kevin Samuels had the interview with Nicki Minaj. Now, we all know he could have absolutely treated Nicki Minaj just like he treats every other girl. But he didn't do it. You know why? He knows who he's talking to. He knows that this is going to go out to the public, to the masses. He's not going to ruin that relationship. And next thing we knew, he got a video with Future. You know what I mean? It's like, you've got to understand who you're dealing with. You got to understand it's chess. It's chess at the end of the day. Now, let's just finish it.
The Isalnd Boys' net worth at $100,000 compared to George Janko's net worth of $600,000. With the Isalnd Boys being so offended by
That's wild. I made $100,000 last year. Come on.
George's basic financial advice and the semi-accurate idea that offensive things are just self-deficiencies that you're yet to address, their emotional response to what George had to say is also a pretty good indication that the Isalnd Boys are probably pretty unwise and insecure when it comes to their financial situation. You know they're also insecure about their future if they flip out on a simple question like that. George didn't say anything offensive. The world is laughing at these boys, not with them. I refuse to believe there's people this insecure when it comes to money in this world, lol. This was also the opinion held by a financial YouTuber named Graham Stephan.
This sort of confidence and arrogance, I do think would end up getting in the way. Financial advice is like not something to get offended about. I mean, there's nothing in there that should have been offensive.
Graham also reiterated what was said earlier about the unlikely nature of their career lasting for the long term.
A career like this could last you anywhere from a few months to a few years. We've seen so many people come up like this where they blow up big and then all of a sudden they do nothing. They can't carry that momentum. And for this right now, they're good for going viral. But I'm not sure if that could be sustained or if that could be translated into a successful career long term.
Before going on to once again discuss how George was probably making just as much money as the Isalnd Boys.
I don't see anything here that would say George is making less money than the Isalnd Boys. If anything, he could be making the same, if not more.
However, when this point will be put against the Isalnd Boys on TikTok, they seem to share a differing opinion.
I'm gonna say it respectfully in the most humble way as possible. I doubt he's making any new money like how Isalnd Boys are. We are successful and happy in life.
Which would be followed by another TikTok, once again displaying their inability to take the advice of others and their desire to walk their path of success alone.
But if someone's talking about my financials, I don't want to hear you. You're not the one that's making me millions of dollars. I made millions of dollars myself. You know what I'm saying? It's just me doing it myself alone, you dig?
Overall, the reason behind why the Isalnd Boys are already on their way out was summarized simply and obviously in a comment made by a YouTuber called HelloYassine.
It's short-term hustling. And we've seen this exact same quote-unquote business model, I guess you could call it, being done, but this doesn't last.
Wow. That was an excellent video, you guys. The biggest takeaways from this is when it comes to the rap industry and things like that, obviously you got to look the part. Obviously you got to have, the little jewelry, got to have some little designer on. You don't have to do it like that, but come on, especially when you rapping and stuff like that, they got the tattoos and stuff like that. It's going to garnish attention. It is very possible to turn this virality into a long-term thing. You just got to have a game plan. You got to stop thinking so short-term with stuff. This is what they did. Not only did they do some short-term stuff, they let their ego get in the way of solid advice. They burnt some bridges with some very, at least in the interviews, we don't know what happened behind the scenes. They burnt some bridges with some very popular people that obviously can and definitely could have helped propel their career even further. Had they humbled themselves enough to the point where, you know what? I want to hang out with those guys again. Let's bring them back on the Impulsive podcast. They were actually pretty cool. Let's bring them back, man. I think the people are misunderstanding them. But no, you walk off. You walk off mad because they're bringing up stuff that makes you feel emotional. You got to control your emotions. And then you also got to understand too, the internet's going to be the internet. There's always going to be people that hate you. There's always going to be people that don't like you. There's always going to be people that are better. But you can't stop. You've got to continue to go and learn how you can do better. Be better. Acknowledge the people that are doing better than you. Learn how you can implement their strategies into yours. And then, guess what? Along the way, you're going to create something magical and fantastic. We're in 2022. There are so many ways that you can make success happen. You just got to search for it. That being said, man, if you guys enjoyed this, hit the like, comment, subscribe button down below. Once you hit that like button, some new confetti comes out because of the new YouTube update, man. It's amazing. With that being said, man, thank you so much for tuning in to your brother Trey, and do better than Isalnd Boys.